Well, the big update is finally here, and the hype and anticipation is through the roof for this one because now the game is running on an updated Unreal Engine. It's a pretty ambitious task for a developer to take on, especially for a game that is barely a year old. And for the most part, they did a great job at making the game easier on the eyes and a little more stable overall. This is strictly a look at how the update affects the multiplayer, since talking about the offline mode is a whole other topic. So once the match loads up, it may take a minute or two to notice that the visuals are a subtle but definite improvement. The graphics were already fairly good, but now everything just has a little more detail to it, and the textures just tend to pop a little more than they used to. I particularly notice this when I'm opening and closing doors. I feel like I'm seeing every splinter in this door now, and it just looks awesome. I mean, even the lighting looks better than ever, which already was pretty damn good, but now they really have nailed some of the lighting. I mean, damn. But while the visuals are a nice touch, the real thing I wanted out of this update was just a more stable game. For too long, the gameplay has just felt a little too buggy and sometimes feels like you're playing a game that's still in the beta phase. Each update has fixed bugs and made general improvements, but this update definitely feels like a cut above the rest. That's not to say that everything has been solved. Bugs are still crawling around, and I'll get to some of the new ones I've already noticed in a minute, but overall, the Friday the 13th game feels like a much smoother experience. The other big improvement that they've been advertising for a while is Jason's improved grab animation and range. For so long, his grabs have been so awkward, and often he would grab counselors and they would weirdly be plunged through the ground before he holds them up. It was just so ugly to look at, and no one's gonna miss that, because now when Jason grabs a counselor, he grabs them by the neck and slowly brings them up in a much smoother manner before he triumphantly holds them up in the air. And there's even a new sound cue that plays when you grab someone.
Thank God it actually.
And it's just freaking awesome. And it doesn't really feel like it's gonna get old anytime soon, which is really nice.
Special boy.
They also tweaked Jason's weapon swing to fix people being able to avoid getting hit while crouching on uneven terrain. I have never experienced this personally, but it's good that they were able to address this balance issue. Before, he would swing straight and abruptly stop, and it was just so stiff looking. Now he swings more like a person on a downward angle, and like the new grab, it feels much more satisfying. So glad that they were able to address that and actually execute it in a much smoother manner. I can't stop saying smooth because that's the way this update just feels, a lot smoother. One quick balance change that was really needed was the ability for counselors to unlock doors from the outside. No more running around the back of the cabin when Jason is on your ass. I guess all the counselors carry master keys now. This is definitely a nice little improvement. I wasn't particularly hungry for it, but it's definitely going to make for some easier time running from Jason, and like Chad is right in front of you and he closes the door on you and locks it because Chad's a dick. Now, with every update comes a new flurry of bugs. But through the 5 games that I played testing out this new update, I only noticed very minor ones, nothing too big. The biggest one that I did notice is that certain action sounds cut out way too often. Half the time, the sound for going through doors and barricading them just doesn't play. This is the case with almost every action sound. Not a game breaker and a fairly easy bug to fix, so let's hope they patch it up soon. Also, some bugs that existed from before are still lingering around, which is kind of annoying. I mean, when you announce a new engine and you put it in, you expect a lot of old bugs that were bugging you to go away. no pun intended. Insane counselor freakouts, for example, when exiting a map, are still way too frequent. It's not something that really affects the gameplay, but it just breaks the immersion. I mean, do I need to see Jenny like freak out or AJ freak out before like she leaves a match just because the camera's in this awkward spot? It should have been smoothed out months ago, especially after this new big engine update. But not that big a deal, just they need to get on that one. Another weird one is the absence of sound during the Pinehurst lobby waiting screen. It just feels off. Why can't I hear crickets and wildlife while I'm waiting for the game to boot up? Kind of weird, but maybe they should get on that one. Jason and host quitting is still an issue in the game, but with the implementation of the salt mines, there is more punishment to those who quit early, and for the people that do quit early, they will be matched with other losers if they keep doing it. Apparently, it's like some sort of point system where if you keep quitting, you're going to rack up these bad points. So they do decay over time, and it's a nice little patch until we get the dedicated servers that we want. There are other changes to the game, but these are the ones I felt were the most important. It's a huge step in the right direction, and it's nice to see that this low-budget game is trying so hard to make a better game for us players. Now go boot up those consoles and carve up some counselors, or just hide in fear.